Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our C# programming tutorial series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at how we can create our own interfaces and how we can implement that interface in a class. Alright, so how exactly do we do this then? Well, what we can do is inside of our Solution Explorer, what we'll do is we will right-click on our project, we'll go to Add, we'll go to Class, and instead of Class, we will select Interface. It will name this interface iPrintable. Okay. Now, I'm gonna make some modifications here. Let me increase the font size here. Okay. We'll change this namespace. And instead of internal, get public, like that. Okay. So now that we have our public interface called Printable, what we need to do is we now need to put in any property or method that we want to that we want to have inside of our interface. In this particular interface, we're only going to have one method, and all methods in an interface, with that one exception I mentioned, they are abstract. We're going to have a void print method. Okay, so void, it returns nothing, and the name will be print, like that. Okay. This will take in nothing, and it will just be, and this line will be ended with a semicolon. That is our interface. Now, of course, if you want to create something else, if you have a different example you want to try in mind as you follow along, by all means, go for it. An example that has multiple methods you could use I can think of off the top of my head is with 2D and 3D shapes, but maybe you want to try something else. Maybe you have some other ideas that you can use this iPrintable interface for. I urge you to try it. Challenge yourself a little bit. Okay, so now that we have our interface, let's go back into our Solution Explorer. And we will create a new class here. And we'll call this class, let's say, person. Okay. Okay. So we'll clean up this class a little bit. Instead of internal, make it public. Alright. Now, inside of our person, we're going to have a couple things. We're going to have a name and a date of birth. That's it. Okay, so private string underscore name, private date time underscore date of birth. Okay. Now, before we continue, we need to actually implement this interface. So, to implement an interface, it's the exact same syntax that you used for inheriting from a class. So, we need a colon, and then the interface we want to implement. In this case, it is iPrintable, like that. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and create the rest of this class here, and then we will provide an implementation for our print method last. So we'll say public person string name date time date of birth this dot underscore name equals name this dot underscore date of birth equals date of birth. Okay. We'll now say public string name get underscore name set equals greater underscore name equals value, like that. Okay. Then we can say public date time date of birth get underscore date of birth set underscore date of birth equals value, like that. Okay. Alright, now we can implement our print method. And to do that, we just simply do public void print, like that. Give it a body. And inside of this method body, we're going to provide our implementation, which will just be a simple console write line we'll say it's going to be do some string interpolation here. We'll say name we'll say name, like that. Date of birth, colon, tab. And then inside of these curly braces, we're going to say date of birth dot to to long date string. Like that. There we go. And so that is our print method. Now we can save this and go into our program CS file. Inside of program CS, let's create a person object by saying person p equals a new person. Now we will need to pass in a string and a date time object. So for name, we'll call this we'll call him Jack. So Jack Doe. Right after the name, we'll say new date time let's see, we want, I believe it's year, month, day. So we'll say 1997. And we'll say 05. Yeah. Yep. And then we'll say May 12th, 1997. Yep. Yep, okay, we're good. All right, so now that is our person. Our person has a name of Jack Doe. And then the birth date is set to May 12th, 1997. It's just a random date. No, there's honestly no significance to it. Now, what we can do is we can then say p dot print. All right, save that. Make sure we run our code now. And there it is. Let's go ahead and run this in our normal command prompt here. So we will then say, I'll go into my E drive. Okay, clear that, .NET run, and there we go. And there we go. So there is our name and our birth date for our person. And that pretty much does it for this video, guys, on how we can go about creating our own interfaces and implementing them inside of our own classes. Now, if you want to create multiple interfaces and attempt to implement them into your class, by all means go for it. I urge you to do that. Challenge yourself. Just a little tip: if you want to implement multiple interfaces, separate them with a comma. That's my little tip for you. So thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.